Do 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 do. Whoa! Now, are we zoomed now? Can't zoom in this mode. All right. That was a good start. Good intro. All right, I was thinking about people that have facades. And for one, why is it important to have a facade? Like, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a judge, a police officer, like, if you are in some sort of position where if someone thinks that you have flaws or that you might be wrong, or that oh, you're having a bad day, you forgot, you made a mistake, you slipped up, um, you said you could do something and you realize, oh, wait a minute, I thought it was something else, but I can't do this, and you don't want anyone to know any of that, which is crazy because you can't fake extreme competence. You can't fake extreme competence. But people do it, and then also but in those situations, when like a judge, all these people are in positions of a certain amount of power or ranking in a hierarchy. A lot of those people that are working their way up through that field can't call you out on that, but it should be okay. It was one of the things with when I was talking about that book where they did a study on planes crashing, and one of the solutions to that was have the junior flight, the junior pilot, do all the flying or the most of the flying, because it's like the junior pilot is more accepting of having the experienced pilot say like, oh, as we enter into this airspace, the first lights that you see aren't the runway. Those are lights that are going up the side of the mountain as a warning. And once you crest that, you'll see a very similar light pattern, which is the runway. It's really easy to confuse, which was one of the accidents. One of the accidents was the pilot with the most experience saw that mountainside with the lights going up and thought that was the runway. And the junior pilot kept saying like, he didn't say you're flying us towards a mountain. He said, oh, this airport has mountains in front of it that have lights going up that look like a runway. He kept hinting that they were flying at a mountain right up until they hit it. At no point in time did he say, dude, that's a mountain. Which seems like I'd be the first to say that. But I'm not striving in a system that might force somebody that speaks up down and let somebody that just like goes with the flow is like, oh, whatever you say, sir, then reach level of pilot. Now I am the source of knowledge and authority, which that's fine, like especially if you're competent at it. But like a competent person, see, I knew a doctor once that said like he's like the only thing I know for sure is I don't know everything, which I thought was a brilliant way to think about just absolutely everything, even something that you're really good about, or really good with, or know a lot about. Like I had one guy tell me something, and I'm like, oh no, it's actually this way. And he's like, I've got 30 years of experience in this field, and I'm like, so you know about this? He's like, right. I'm like, so this is connected to that? He's like, right. And so if those two things work together, then it needs to have this. And he went, okay. I'm like, so once you put that there, in order for that to function, if this goes wrong, this is going to do that. And when that happens, it prevents another thing from happening, right? He didn't know that at all. But like, I explained it, and he had the knowledge. Like, he knew when I said, well, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? He knew all those facts. But when I just said the end, the most important thing is to say like, oh, I've got more experience than you do. But I was right, and he actually had the knowledge that would provide him with the answer that I'd said something that was correct. It's like going into if you're talking to a mathematician and you say the answer, the best mathematician in the entire world, like you would think, would just turn around and say like, oh yeah, you're right. you know. But this person, part of this person's persona is being competent at something that is a huge amount of information, a hugely complex, but they need to say things that instill not only confidence in who they are, but then their confidence affects how other people behave. So like the people you work with might function better or with more confidence or more gusto or whatever, and then the people coming to you to get whatever you're providing, leaving their money behind, they are more likely, if they feel safer, like, okay, I'll just throw a huge amount of money at this guy because he seems like he's an expert. He was an expert, but he was afraid to say that anyone else knew more than he did, even to consider what someone had said. You okay, baby? He was having trouble walking. I think that like you can't fake competence. You can't fake honesty. I've had people try to like almost violently enforce their lies, and people are afraid. Like, if you tell lies, people are gonna know it, and so a lot of times people that lie a lot end up being surrounded by people who can't call them on it. Same thing with people that pretend competence. They end up in situations where the people below them are of either less competence or have more to fear of what they might lose. Like I saw this in person, but then I heard it explained once. I went to a comedy show. I went to Eddie Murphy, and the opening act was a guy kind of dancing with mannequins on PVC pipes. So it looked like a bunch of people were dancing, and at one time one of the mannequins broke. And Eddie Murphy walked out and said, "What's that shit?" And later I heard that explained is like, you don't come out with somebody that might be perceived as better than you. Like you don't want your opening act to wow the fuck out of everybody. You're like they're like, oh, just calm down laughing. Like, but when I was listening to Joe Rogan talk about this, he's like, you want to go into a hot room. I mean, you want to go into a room where people are just like, they're already like wound up and happy and laughing. There's been lots of infectious laughter already taking place. You feel, I mean, that's the thing about laughing in a crowded room. Like, you don't want to be the first, but once everyone's laughing, then it feels, for a lot of people, they feel more safe. They feel more secure. Everyone's having a good time. I can now laugh with my my funny laugh. And, it seems to fit in. I think sometimes the facade stuff is important. Like if you were in a small community and everyone in there went to the Church of the Spaghetti Monster, you don't want to go tell a bunch of people you don't believe in the Spaghetti Monster. You actually probably want to go to the Spaghetti Monster Church. Like you don't have to get up and sing the hymns or whatever like that. You're like, oh, I don't sing. Like, well, have you read chapter something like this? Like, I don't have time to read. I've got so much to do, but really appreciate the community. Really like being a part of things. All hail the Spaghetti Monster. 'Cause that's like a facade and line in a way. Like, but that's for like the tranquility and easement of society. Like I think that's a good thing. Like like the idea of like going to a dinner with a bunch of people and not talking about politics or religion or anything like that, or like the idea is for things to go well, and so that's your focus. But it shouldn't be, I want everyone there to think I'm a rocket scientist, or I want everyone to believe this, that, or the other thing, because I want them, instead of like the society we're all a part of, I want the society that we're all a part of to be better. They're like, I want to be seen as the best part of our society. 10 minutes, that's good enough. You should be seen as who you are. Like, every day you should just be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And if the day after you're not better than you were yesterday, you should have the courage to just say like, I wasn't very good yesterday. I kind of see why. And now today, based on that information, I'll try not to, make that mistake again. I'll try to continue to build myself up. It's like building up a sandcastle. They say like the ocean will wear it away, and it's like um, you change where you build it, and you change how fast you build it. You change what you build it of, and like eventually, your sandcastle will be as tall as you can build it. It'll just be in a place where you're genuinely successful and you genuinely know what you're doing, and you have good ideas that produce legitimate results. And on and on and on he talks.